I want to start there because there's so many freaking people that, like, you get around them and all they talk about is work. They're always complaining about what they do. And you might be one of those people. I used to be one of those people. There's absolutely no reason to live your life complaining all the time about the things that you're doing every day that are bringing money into your bank account, that are keeping food on your table. If you don't like your job, get another job. And don't say that it's hard or I can't, because everything is hard and you can't until you try. And sometimes you got to try 20 times. And I guess this is a good segue for me to get into why I do what I do, because when I was first starting off in business, and really decided what I wanted to do with my career and where I wanted to go, one of the first things that happened to me, I walked out of an interview. I was in the middle of it. I decided this isn't for me. I had an epiphany and I walked out. Yes, Leslie, so many people complain, and you're not a tree. Get up and do something about it. That's awesome, Martha. Thank you. I've never heard that. I'm going to use that one next time somebody tells me something they can't do. But yeah, I walked out of an interview. So that was my experience. That's kind of the first thing that happened to me. I don't know if you've been in an interview, like literally sitting in the interview. The question that she asked me right before I walked out, she said, "So why do you want to work for our company?" That's a really common question. And by the way, happy Wine Wednesday. I'm going to get to this in a second, but she asked me why I wanted to work for their company. Very common question. And I stopped, and I could have answered it like generic, but I had one of those moments where I was just tired and I was depleted. I was stressed out. I was unhappy. And when she asked me that question, it all kind of hit me, because I was tired of coming up with some generic crap to answer in interviews. By the way, when I was at this interview, this was like my 5th or 6th interview that I'd went on. Like, I was frantically interviewing with people and desperate. And I think they could all tell. And that's something that I learned in that moment. When she asked me the question, "Why do you want to work for our company?" I just stopped and I said, "You know what? I really can't answer that question for you. And I've realized now that this company really isn't for me, and it's not going to work out. So I'm sorry. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the opportunity." And I left, and I got in my car, and I started crying, and I was just hysterical, because I realized I had been lying this whole time about, like, really, why did I even want another job? And why was I so desperately going on these interviews? And when I tell you that I was miserable in my job at the time, I hated my boss. The environment was just sucked. Everybody in that place, there were some very special people there, very dear friends and people that I care for, but everybody was depleted because there was just a very bad culture. The environment was pretty toxic, and it was just not a happy place. And it took a toll on me. I became unhappy. I gained weight. I stopped working out as much. I wasn't eating well. I was drinking a lot more because I was just unhappy at work. I would get off work, go to happy hour, and hang out with friends like all the time, not in moderation. And I wasn't sleeping at night. So it took a huge toll on my physical health, my emotional, and my mental health. And that is huge. And I was disregarding that the whole time. I was going on all these interviews, and I was not happy. And I realized I need to address this issue. I can't keep lying to someone when I interview and they ask, "Why do you want to work for our company?" I can't tell them, "Oh, because I hate my boss and my job sucks and I'm desperate." Which, by the way, I'm sure they could see like desperate on my forehead every time I went in an interview, which was why I wasn't getting those jobs. And I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't facing the true problem. I wasn't even trying to like look in and see how I could change my situation in terms of how I was taking care of myself or not. How I was eating, my routine, drinking all the time, not sleeping. That is not healthy. And it takes a toll on you mentally, physically, emotionally, and other people can see it. So I'm going to stop right there and just hold that thought. Other people can see when you are physically depleted, when you may be drinking too much, when you aren't happy. Like, people can literally tell. And I had a girl tell me, and I'll never forget, Brittanni, you just look sad today. And I'm used to seeing you happy, and you haven't looked happy lately. And that hurt me, because I never want for somebody to feel sorry for me. And I certainly wasn't trying to get sympathy. I certainly wasn't trying to look unhappy, but no matter how much I tried faking it, I was miserable, and I wasn't addressing the problem on my own. I was just trying to blame other people, and blamed my boss for making me unhappy, blamed my coworkers for not making me happier. I blamed my friends for not being better friends. I was mad at my family because they didn't care. I just kept making excuses, but I wasn't paying attention to what I physically could do. So flash forward, after that interview, drove off, cried, got myself together, decided, you know what, I'm going to start taking care of myself. I really need to stop going out as much. I need to go back to the gym. That made me happy when I was working out. And I need to start eating better so I don't have acid reflux problems. Probably shouldn't be drinking either, because that was part of the problem too. So I started making those small changes. I also started beefing up my interview practice. I wasn't really practicing for interviews because I'm like, oh, you know what, I work in HR. I've interviewed people. I know what I need to do. I don't care how long you've worked in whatever you work in, if you manage people, if you've interviewed, you need to practice, you need to prepare. And I wasn't doing that, and I was just kind of arrogant about it. So I finally decided I'm going to start getting these things right. The same advice I would give to somebody else, I'm going to take it. Go figure. And flash forward, I got into better shape. I lost probably 15 pounds. I was feeling better. I was in a happier place. I was eating better. And I was more prepared for interviews. So I started going on these interviews and actually went to an interview. It went well. They decided not to go forward with that position at the time. Bummed me out. So I kind of just hung out and did my thing for a while. I was still at the company that I was miserable at, but I wasn't miserable and blaming everybody anymore. I was really okay. I mean, it was a job. I was getting money in my account. I had benefits. I didn't work that far from where I lived. Like, I started looking at all the positive things, and I stopped focusing so much on this man that I hate, these people that suck, the unhappiness across the office, all the office drama. I stopped focusing on it, and I started really paying attention to myself. And you have control over the environment that you're in, and that's something that I learned in that moment, and I've carried it forward with me. And not to say I'm perfect, because I still have moments where I'm not happy with something at work, or people bother me. I don't like everybody, and everybody don't like me. So that's normal. That's life. That's human. But you can control how you let it affect you. And I don't have that problem now. So I share that with you because I know that a lot of you guys are in transitions in your life where you might be looking for something else, and you might be trying to get ready for an interview, and you're just not sure what to do, or you might not be happy, and you might feel like you can't control everything. But there are things you can control. And throughout all of this, I've realized, I've had a passion to develop and help other people. I actually started with fitness because I realized for me, I took better care of myself. I worked out. I was learning how to eat better. I had a routine. My habits were good. I can help other people with this. And so that's kind of when I transitioned into becoming a coach with Beachbody, which I did that for about 3-4 years. And it was great because I was really focused on health. I was really focused on my fitness and helping other people and doing these things that brought me joy. But at the same time, I wasn't very happy continuing to pull and push other people to understand how important their health is. And not that I don't care. I also did personal training for quite a while and group fitness classes. So I had fun. I was doing so much and meeting so many amazing people, but it still, for me, I didn't feel like I was authentic. I felt like, even in my classes, like there was something missing, and I hated that feeling. I loved people telling me how much fun they had and how good they felt, but I was still missing something. And so I chose to walk away from that because I finally realized, while I was feeling like something's missing, I figured it out. And it was simply that I love helping develop and grow people, but the career side of that was what I kept pulling towards. Because even when I was coaching people from a fitness standpoint, we were constantly talking about work. And some of these clients of mine, personal training and in group fitness, would tell me, like, I hate my job. Or even when, somebody would join my team, it's like, oh, I hate my job. I'm looking for another opportunity to make money. I want to work for myself. I want to build a business. Can you help me with that? And help me with my resume. All these things. And it kept pulling back to fitness, it kept pulling back to the career. So with fitness, I'm hearing these things from people, and it made sense to me. I said, you know what? I actually light up and beam so much more when I'm helping somebody with their career. And you know what? You're not going to be very good in your career, or any job for that matter, for very long if you're not taking care of yourself. And health is very important. So even when I'm now coaching people on their career, I still tie it to health. It's still really important. And that brings me to where I'm at now. So I started coaching, and I had this desire, all along, to help people to get out of their way, to be more confident. And that all started back way in the day. So you may have gone to my page and seen my story shared there. You may have been on my website and seen my story shared there. But I've never shared this with anyone. I've never verbally expressed live what I'm about to share with you. And it's something that I didn't think was a big deal, but in hindsight it really was. And I laugh now because it's something that my dad would always remind me of, as I was growing up. And even still to this day, he tells this story to so many people. And it's kind of brought me here. So let me pause for a drink of wine. And does anyone can you tell me if you're watching, comment, emoji, comment, something, just so I know that you're here, because I definitely want to make sure that I am connecting with you. And if there's something that resonates, please let me know, because the first time I ever really shared this with someone, they told me that this resonated with them so much, and they were like, thank you for sharing that. Because it's something that everybody kind of struggles with, that maybe we just don't talk about. And so, thank you, Leslie. When I was, I would say 7 years old, I remember I was in my class, and we were getting ready to go to lunch. And this little boy walked over to me, and he just said, Brittany, you're stupid. So I was like, okay. For no reason, this kid just comes over and tells me I'm stupid. I asked, like any normal person or whatever one might be thinking, why did you tell him? Why do you think that? Why did you say that? And you know what this kid says to me? He says, you're stupid because you have a white mom and a black dad. And I grew up with 4 brothers, so I couldn't cry in the moment because that would be the ultimate sign of weakness. And I held back my tears, and I was really hurt. But I said to him, okay, well, if I'm so stupid, then why am I on the honor roll and you're not? So I've always been a witty girl, by the way, since a young age. But after that, the kid said nothing. I kind of redeemed myself. I think I did. I went on, and after that moment, I was really confused. And I went on for quite a while just thinking, I can't ever be stupid. I can't ever let somebody think that I'm stupid because of the color of my parents' skin. I didn't understand why he would say that. I grew up with some racism and hate around me, but it's something that I didn't really understand. My parents obviously talked more to me about it after the fact, but breaking it down, that kid just was in an environment and growing up with a family who didn't care, to share, or they were just ignorant. At the end of the day, if you judge someone by the color of their skin or their culture or the way they talk or their parents or their siblings, like, you are an ignorant person. So I will just say that. And I really pray that any people in this world who still have that mentality, which I know plenty do, and we're seeing it so much lately with all of the shit going on with politics and all the crazy things that are coming out. In businesses right now, there's a huge focus on diversity and inclusion and just being able to accept people for who they are. And if you work in corporate America, you know that this still exists. These things are huge. And so it's really important that we move forward and know that we have to accept people for who they are. And it's good to understand why people are the way they are. And you're not going to get everybody. You're not going to connect with everyone. You're not going to like everyone. But what I will say is, even if I disagree with someone, if I'm able to understand why they said or believe whatever it is they believe, I can understand them and try to see things from their perspective, but I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like it. And it does help you to better somewhat appreciate their point of view. Don't have to like the person. So I think we all have things that we can share. We all have opinions. We all have thoughts. And we need to own who we are, and we need to own what we do. And if we own who we are and the personalities that we have, and we're not trying to adjust and change and be other people, that was kind of a result of that. I grew up thinking I have to be the smartest, I have to be first, I have to be the best. And it was because I just constantly thought, if people think I'm stupid, I have to prove them wrong. And I never wanted to become somebody that was a perfectionist. And I'll say I'm really not at this point, but it's definitely driven me to do so much. So I'm constantly pushing myself to work hard and to do new things and try new things. So with that, I recently became a certified John Maxwell coach, and I'm able to speak and train and facilitate leadership sessions, leadership topics for people in business. I work closely with women. I am now a moderator for part of the Elevate Women's Network. I am a co-chair at my company for our women's network. And this is what I do. I'm constantly involved with helping grow and develop and create confidence in women who probably went through some shit back in the day that's holding them back. And we all have things that are holding us back, but you have to learn how to get out of your way. And you need somebody to get you through that. I had a coach, and they've pulled me through things. And I'm honestly grateful for that. And it's something that we all need. So even coaches need coaches. And that's what I do. I help develop and grow people outside of my day job. And with wine, on the more fun side, it's just it's an additional stream of income. So many of you have asked, how do you do this and your day job? I dabble with it. I mean, I can dedicate some time in the evenings every day. I can, on the weekends, do a little here and there. But truly, it's a fun, creative business where I can kind of do whatever I want. There are some rules, but I am able to run it the way I want to and do it on my own terms. It's wine. People love it. It's so easy to talk about, and I love sharing it. And so it just makes sense. Like, why wouldn't I do it? So yeah, the coaching aspect even comes in there, because if people join and decide they want to run a business of their own, you need a coach for that. You need somebody to help show you that. You need someone to kind of keep you on track with what it is you need to do and how you can keep building. And you can't do it all by yourself. And even entrepreneurs, you're running your own business, but you need somebody to help coach you along. So there's that. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm really glad that I actually shared this, because it's something that I actually shared recently, with friends, and I thought maybe I should just share that with everyone, because I constantly get asked just what it is I do and how I do it. And I can share a lot more one-on-one if you're interested in talking. I'm always looking to help different people with situations in their career, or if they're interested in starting up a business, kicking ideas off, what you might want to do, what you might be good at doing based on your experience, based on the skills you have. I'm happy to talk more with you. So not even just wine, but anything. And if you're interested in starting business with wine, cool. It's so fun. But anything that you're interested in, you definitely want to have somebody to kind of help you out along the way, but take the time to really figure out and appreciate what you bring to the table. And if you're in a position right now that you feel like you're miserable and you're not happy, really think about how you can figure that out for yourself and fix it within yourself, and keep looking. Because if you're interviewing right now or you're looking for something else, you have to be happy with yourself, and other people are going to be able to see that. So remember, as I mentioned earlier, if you're not happy and if you're unhealthy and you're not sleeping a lot, or you're just an unhappy person and you're miserable all the time, people can see that, and you can see that in your face, in your tone, in the way you carry yourself. And if that starts to shift, I never wanted to hear from someone that looked up to me that I looked sad and that I didn't look happy. But that was a wake-up call for me. And I truly hope that this has been helpful for you, and I appreciate you being here. So thank you for joining me for Wine Wednesday. I am going to add more people to this. I think the last time I did a Wine Wednesday, I had Christy, I've had my niece, Desiree, but I am looking for more people. I think I polled some of you guys. If you're interested in joining me for Wine Wednesday, I have a blog that I always talk about on my Wine Wednesdays, and I like to incorporate different tips and tools and kind of somewhat do a conversational training. So that's my thing. I love talking with people, and I love helping train people. So if you are someone who wants to join me, let's talk. Let's have some wine. Let's have a good conversation. And sharing personal experiences is just something that I think we should all be better at doing, because you're going to get better respect and appreciation from people that you're trying to influence or get to know. And you're also going to become more confident in who you are and what you've been through, and really appreciate it and use that to help you grow.